We have Peter Kappelos with us today. He's with our Redondo Beach office. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for the opportunity.
So why don't you introduce yourself, tell us what areas you work, how long you've been in the business, and how you got started in real estate.
Well, interesting how I got started in real estate was I started to flip homes originally, and I was doing so well. A lot of my friends said to me, find me a house. I want to do the same thing. So one thing led to another, and finally I thought, I got to get my license. So that's how it all started back in 2001.
Okay.
So I've been in business over 20 years.
Nice. And how do you get your business? I know you do a lot of repeat and referral business.
I do.
Do you, what's your technique? Since the pandemic, we haven't been able to host open houses. Do you cold call, or how do you stay in touch with your past clients?
Well, a lot of my clients is via email and text. Had a lot of clients over the years, and I always keep touch with them and send them, the holiday emails as well. Just keep my face in front of them. I think it's important. But one thing I learned about when I first started, a lot of people don't realize that as a real estate agent, if you're starting off totally fresh, there's a lot of grunt work you have to do in the first couple of years.
Oh, yeah.
And a lot of people who get their license think, oh, it's going to be a piece of cake. No, you really have to work hard particularly in the first years, to set up a client base.
That's right.
Yeah.
I think the statistics are 80% of the agents that get their real estate license don't renew it after 4 years. That's really high. So you do have to pay the price early on in the career.
Sure.
What sort of things did you do in your early career?
Well, one thing I learned, and I learned by my own mistake, really. When I first started marketing and doing cold calling and dropping off flyers, I spread myself out too thin in too many areas.
Okay.
So I found that focusing on one particular area, not only South Bay, like Redondo Beach, I've lived in Redondo Beach for over 30 years. So that's what I try and focus on. And we have an agent, Bill Ruan, and Elsa Gunners are probably a good example of that. He has probably 75-80% of all the business in that area. So, I learned that lesson hard in the first few years.
So maybe go deep into one area and not so wide.
Correct.
That's a good advice. Good advice. And as far as technology, we talked about this a little bit.
Yeah.
Are you using any technology tools to help your business?
I am. I use the automatic emailing of holidays. It makes it easy to operate. Once you have a client base, you can just couple of clicks and you can send, a couple thousand emails really quick. And
you said it's market leader.
It's market leader one I use. I've used them for over 13, 14 years now. So I found that successful, works for me. But there's a lot of programs like we mentioned earlier, Booge and Scout and a few others that do similar things. So anybody can do it.
That's great. So tell everybody what area you work.
Well, particularly Redondo Beach, Torrance areas, really the west part of the South Bay area. Occasionally I'll venture out to some other areas if I've got a client that asks me, particularly if it's a referral, I will go out of my way. I've gone, as far as, Orange County for a client. So,
okay. What gets you out of bed in the morning?
I've always gotten out of bed early. I've run marathons. I ran the first LA marathon in 1986. Here.
Wow, that's fantastic.
And I've run quite a few others since then, but I don't run lately because my legs can't take it. But that's what gets me out, because I used to get up first thing in the morning, 5:30 in the morning. Doesn't matter whether it's raining, cold, whatever. I'd get up and run every day.
So it's the routine.
Correct. And I haven't got out of that habit, and I don't want to. Quite frankly.
Fantastic. It's worked well for you. So you have a fascinating accent. Tell everybody where you're from.
Well, obviously from Australia. I lived in Melbourne for a number 10 years, and Adelaide being my hometown. And a lot of people don't know that back in Adelaide, I was a radio DJ for a number of years.
Interesting.
And, but I thought it was interesting and it was great for your ego, but it was bad for your pocket. They didn't pay well in those days.
I love it.
So I went into sales, and that's where I started to earn some good money.
So Peter, talk about your niche. We talked about not going wide, but going deeper. And I know you concentrate on Redondo Beach. Can you tell us about your specific niche and how that became to be developed?
As I said before, I I learned the hard way by making a few mistakes, and I realized after a while that I should be putting all my energy into certain areas and focus on those areas, because the more people see your mug, so to speak, whether it's in a postcard or online, the familiarity breeds, and that eventually they think they know you, but they don't. So I found that easy to open up a conversation. You know, I've been sending you postcards for the last X amount of years. You know, I just want to touch base with you. You know, how's your family and so on. So that gave me an automatic leg up to other things, and particularly in selling their home.
Have you done any coaching in the past?
I have my previous life, yes. I was division manager for GTE in Australia for 5 years.
So you've helped motivate a sales team?
You know, absolutely. And you know, when I talked about being a DJ earlier, the first job I took was working for a company called Remington and Remington Typewriters in Australia. And I used to door knock selling typewriters.
That's a
so
tough
that's
job.
hard yakka.
Well, thanks for joining us today, Peter.
Thanks very much. Appreciate it.